Hi budding biologists, in this video we are going to explore technology used to observe cells. So far we've tracked the progression of the light microscope and its impact on the development of the cell theory. First with Hooke being able to see cells and allowing Schein and Schonn later to observe the nucleus, leading to the first two parts of the cell theory. Go watch that video if you need to be caught up. However, up until this point there was not enough magnification power to see all the organelles within cells. In 1931, German scientists Ernst Ruska and Max Knoll designed the first electron microscope. Its magnifying power far exceeded the light microscope. It was a transmission electron microscope, now called TEM. This means it uses high energy electrons absorbed by cells to produce images of the interiors of cells. In 1937, Arden made the first scanning electron microscope, which has a lower magnification than TEM, but enables for surface views of objects such as bacteria. With these technological improvements in the microscope design and further development of techniques in staining and preparing samples, scientists were able to observe the membrane-bound organelles within cells and identify them. This specifically attributed to improving the resolving power of the electron microscope. Now let's look at each of these technologies in a little more detail. The light microscope uses light to magnify an image through the use of lenses. The main advantage of the light microscope is being able to observe living cells in colour. Other advantages include quick and simple preparation of specimens and the inclusion of dyes to improve the viewing of certain aspects of cell. The main disadvantage of the light microscope is that it's limited by the wavelength of light, which limits the resolving power. This means that light microscopes can't effectively magnify larger than 2,000 times. Electron microscopes use electron beam in a vacuum to view cells in far more detail. This narrow beam of electron that passes through electromagnetic lenses. These lenses are actually coils that surround the tube and emit electromagnetic field. This focuses these electrons and the beam strikes the specimen. The specimen is either absorbed, scattered or passed through. The image produced is either put on a screen or projected on a photographic plate. The greatest advantage of the electron microscope is that it creates a very high resolution image and has a much greater magnification. This means that observations are able to be made on a subcellular level. Another advantage is that they have a greater depth of field. This means that the specimen can be much thicker than that for a light microscope. The disadvantages include the use of a vacuum means that specimens must be non-living and preserved in preparation for viewing, and the images are produced in black and white. Other disadvantages include being large and expensive and having a lot of maintenance. This means that they're not accessible except for universities and research laboratories. There are two main types: transmission electron microscopy and scanning electron microscopy. TEM uses a very thin beam of electrons, less than 1,000 nanometers thick, to view a specimen. This allows for viewing in very fine details of cellular structures. The specimens are usually prepared by cutting a thin, stained sample with using a stain of heavy metal such as lead. Whereas SEM bounces electrons off a specimen that have been coated with an extremely thin layer of gold. This gives a high resolution image of the surface features, creating a three-dimensional image. From the naked eye to the use of the compound microscope to the electron microscope, technology and techniques for observing cells have changed significantly. The introduction of the electron microscope has allowed for a greater understanding of the subcellular structures known as organelles. See you next time.